Hello everybody, this is Cholera, and welcome to Game 3 of Airforce ACE versus Woonjin Stars. This is going to be Casey versus Guemchi. Guemchi and Casey are really not among my favorite players to cast for various reasons. Well, I mean, I really don't have that much against them. Just Guemchi's kind of a boring player, and Casey's kind of a perennial has-been of sorts. But we are going to cast this anyway. Maybe they'll surprise us with a surprisingly good game. Who knows? I do remember in the Commentator Idol there was a game between Guemchi and Lita that was surprisingly entertaining, although it did involve Guemchi getting schooled by Lita. He was just amusing in the sense that, you know, he played poorly and allowed Lita to show off how good he was. But regardless, we're going to see this game, and we'll see what happens. Casey has a horrible record against Protoss. Oh my god. I just realized that he is, I don't know if it includes this game or not, but 14-38 against Protoss for a whopping 27% win rate. Man, that's like, that is horrible. That's like Zergbong stats against anybody. But, you know, he really is like Firebat Hero, but even worse in terms of how bad he is against Protoss. And let's see what happens against Guemchi, who's an even 7-7, 50% against Terran. And, you know, this is going to be interesting. They're playing on Outsider. I think it's a, you know, a decent map for both races. I'd say maybe it leans towards Protoss slightly. It's going to be kind of, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to hold judgment on that. I really have not seen enough games on it, but I mean, slightly I would lean towards it just because the natural is kind of open. There's an open middle space, hard to build at certain points. Yeah, actually, I would say probably a little Protoss biased in this matchup. So Casey going to have a slightly hard road to climb here, and we'll see how he does against Guemchi. See some Airforce ACE signs here. And there is Casey, by the way. Of course, he is a Terran player at the bottom right. He is a one-time OSL winner. And there is Guemchi at the upper left. Guemchi, slightly more interesting than Best God, which isn't saying much. I'm thinking about the most boring Protoss players out there, and I would have to say Guemchi, Best God, Young, Spear. Yeah, not that interesting of players, but we're gonna have to see. Casey, you know, an interesting kind of Terran player, not very interesting. Interesting in that he does weird things, not interesting in that they usually fail. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll surprise all of us. So, yeah, I mean, basically, I think we're going to see Reach helping to solve this swine flu crisis. I mean, his vaccine is out. I don't know if they're going to start mass producing it yet, but we'll see. Oh, there's some more hot girls. That leaves me something to talk about. I like that one. Pretty cute. It's like a 7.5. So we got a scouting workers here meeting in the middle. Jeez, I'm sorry about that, guys. I really don't know much about either of these players. I mean, what can I say? Casey, I know. His name's Adamus. He used to be considered the Neo boxer, but then he turned out to suck. And really, there's not much to say about that. Guemchi's got a weird name, and he plays for Woonjin Stars. Yeah. So we've got Lings, not Lings. We've got a red probe coming into Casey's base. Casey gonna have a Marine out, and I really hope Casey decides to do something interesting so that we can end this game quicker, so we can move on to free versus reach. Because I have a feeling Casey, if he does something interesting, will probably fail in an interesting way. And it looks like we've got a Zealot out now for Guemchi. Let's see if Guemchi is going to be able to do any damage with this Zealot. I think Guemchi has been spotted, though. And Casey now building the factory inside his base. Is he going to go for a fast expand in the back? I think he might. Just might decide to go for the back. No, he's just going to build a supply depot. I think that's actually a good move there because, you know, he really does not want to get some kind of sneakiness going on there and find himself with, I don't know, like a proxy fleet beacon there or something. So that back expansion is certainly going to be helpful for the Terran player a little more than the Protoss, especially because it doesn't have gas if you take it as a Protoss, but as a Terran they can float a command center over. Or, although I guess as a Protoss they can also just trick a probe through and pick up the back expansions. But anyway, robotics facility going up for Guemchi. Guemchi might be going for fast reverse here, and let's see what Casey decides to do. Is he going to go for an FD build? We'll have to see. Looks like we've got ourselves 4 Marines and an SCV. And so thank you guys for giving me suggestions, by the way. Please do keep giving me suggestions to good games. And when you do, make sure there is a link to the game. That would be much appreciated. Sometimes I just get something like, go cast Cal versus Flash, or Cal versus Reach, or no, not Cal versus Reach. Cal versus, like, I don't know, Effort. And there could be like 5 different Cal versus Effort games out there. So do send a link. That is very helpful. Anyway, looks like we are going to see an FD build. And meanwhile, we're going to see that Guemchi is going to be in the dark here. But I think he's going to go Reaver Drop no matter what. And nope, I am completely wrong. It's going to be boring. And it's going to be an observatory. So he's going to fast expand instead, most likely. And he's going to take, it looks like, well, he's thinking about taking his mineral only here at the back. Yep, he is going to pick it up. He's not going to try to trick a probe through into the corner. The corners are interesting. They have you have an option of picking up 2 normal-sized bases, you know, with minerals and gas, or you can pick up a double gas if you place them in between the 2 assimilators of those 2 bases. So it's an interesting set of decisions you have. Or if you're the Terran, you can also just pick up, or if you're the, you could just pick up the. We can pick up anything you want by folding Command Center. The Protoss cannot do that, though. As you can see, Guemchi has chosen to take just the minerals for now. And now we're seeing a little bit of a push coming out for Casey. Let's see what he manages to do here against Guemchi. Guemchi actually has secured himself on both ramps. I guess he's afraid of some kind of drop action coming. And that is interesting. He's got his units pretty well spread out. And I wonder why that is. We'll have to see. Alright, some turrets going up for Casey. Casey has gone for a very standard build here. Getting an academy fairly early, though. That is a bit early for an academy. Usually we see an extra factory or an armory beforehand. But he's going to be picking up his natural expansion outside the base, whereas we got Guemchi picking up the inside natural. So that is good. By the way, casting live was a lot of fun. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Rise and I actually went to the Samsung Experience Center last Sunday.